Hey YouTubers, how you doing? Alright. Well, I give a weekly podcast on current events. So if you like this video, press the like button. It certainly helps the algorithms, and if you want to subscribe, you get once a week current events. There's so much going on right now, I don't even know where to start. Um, my goodness. I'm taping this Friday night. It's got a slight drizzle to it outside. Um, Feels good. Feels good. It's a little cold. Uh, and it'll probably go out Saturday night. Usually goes out Saturday night. Somehow, maybe right around the 8 o'clock area. So much going on, friend. I'm wondering if before Christmas, Israel will invade Iran. I'd like to talk about that because uh, Benjamin Netanyahu, I think I pronounced that right, pretty much came right out and said that there's going to be an invasion. Okay. Um, well, Trump looked pretty confused when he was asked, what about these drones, for lack of a better word. Uh, he said it's not foreign, because if it were, they would have shot them down. Um, it could be a combination of different types of drones, but the problem with that is the head of Homeland Security, when he gave a briefing, said it was China. So you see, I've heard so many different stories from these politicians, these bureaucrats, high people in government. I don't even listen to it anymore. I've already made up my mind within the first 2 minutes of what I saw. It's fallen angel technology. Uh, so, friend, we just, as Christians, we need to draw very close to Jesus Christ. Um, our faith increases when we spend more time with Jesus Christ. It's that simple. Spend a lot of time with Jesus, you know. Uh, they shut the Air Force down in Ohio. Okay, so that tells me it's not an American drone. Um, and they shut, I think it's Stewart Airport in New York down. That tells me it's not American drones either. Um, so that's interesting. Now there's a lot of stuff that they're saying in connection with the drones. I do not know if it's an agenda that they have. Oh, look at the drones. Let's get our little agenda in here. But it's hard to tell. It really is. Okay. Sorry for the background noise there. Some of these people got new units, so that's the heat. Believe it or not, I was wrong the last time. Some of them these are new units. I don't believe that these UFOs, or I'm not going to call them, they're fallen angel technology. Okay, I do believe that they will attack, but not right now because God said no. And here's the reason why I believe they will attack. As I listen to the dreams, and the visions, I can tell you straight up that they did attack. So, none of these things can happen until God gives the go-ahead, perhaps a little before the rapture. I know after the rapture. I don't know. I mean, it's all speculation. Yeah, I didn't know this. Putin's a Mason, okay? That's not a good thing, because there's going to be war. I got to tell you, there is going to be war. Um, so the collapse of Syria is prime for Israel to invade Iran. This is one reason why I know they are just about to do it. There's many reasons. The Syria reason is one. Another is Benjamin Netanyahu gave a swelling speech to Iran. And one of those, you deserve a democracy, and you're being oppressed, and that means war. That means that a country is going to go to war. Remember George Bush Jr.? I mean, he must have said the world is a better place without Saddam Hussein. It's about 75 different times. It means that they want to go to war. That's basically what it means, and they're going to do it very fast, I think. Could the complete destruction of Damascus be the hook in the jaw in Ezekiel chapter 38, the battle of Gog and Magog? Just like, remember in that chapter it says there'll be a hook in the jaw? It could be part of it. It could be part of it. It also could be a combination of Syria and Iran. And both are very close. Perhaps even days, perhaps before Christmas. I don't know. I think we're so close that, I'm going to get a video out, and then, it's Saturday night. I don't know if I'll be able to do another one, because the rapture could happen. We are so close. We are so close. Now, birds have been flying away. I believe that was more the East Coast. That could mean a tsunami. It could be an earthquake. It could be the cold, because they fly down south. But why, like now? A lot of things that I physically see they don't really make any sense. Usually it's around early September that they fly. Now Israel's talking about peace in Gaza and expanding the Golan Heights. Okay? Now that peace is what the book of First Thessalonians says. But I got to tell you, that whole Golan Heights situation, it's getting everybody furious. Everybody is furious on that. That's just going to cause war. And Ukraine is striking Russia really hard with their drones. And Russia, they moved a lot of weapons. Something's gonna happen. It's gonna. I can just. All I have to do is look at the movements, and that's part of my job. I tell you the movements, and remember that verse in Psalm 90:12. I think it's verse 12 where it says, "Lord, teach us to number our days that we may apply our hearts to wisdom." When we know we have a short time, we just want to get right with God. All right. So the Pope on Christmas, he wants to open up 5 holy doors throughout the Vatican. I think they're portals, and I think demons are going to come in. It's interesting that he would choose Christmas Eve. I think it's Christmas Eve. Okay. These drones, for lack of a better word, are all over the world. It's interesting that Egypt had something to say about this. They're spraying something, and they were even shooting lasers on the Egyptian people. So, when people say, well, America made them, that's just silly. It really is. I mean, why are they all over the world? America can't even feed the victims of North Carolina. They can't even give them basic shelter. I mean, there are millions of them all over the world. So, I think we have a limited edition of the news media because it's run by Satan. So a lot of people may not know this. But these drones defy physics. They defy the laws of physics. And a lot of these drones in the northeast, they evaded detection by flying away in seconds. Then they're gone. Then there was another report that 50 drones came out of the ocean. Okay, well, there could be a portal in the ocean. These drones aren't picked up by radar. I mean, come on. You really think that these drones are from planet Earth? Four pilots in Oregon said that these drones passed the airplane with extreme speed. And they said nothing on Earth was that fast. But in that area, and over in the war area, what about the NATO chief that said we're going to prepare, the world's going to prepare for war? You know, listening to their words, watch what they do. Everything is happening. So many things are just happening simultaneously that I have to conclude we're very close to the rapture. And when this happens, everything's going to happen at the same time. So, all right, we're coming up to Hanukkah. And Enoch was the first guy to ever be raptured. And his name means Hanukkah, or it's related to Hanukkah. That's amazing. All right. You know, I still have been seeing that number 1111. I saw it about 70 different times. That's right, 70. 70 different times in about 2 or 3 years. And a lot of people have been seeing that number. That means God's about to judge, okay? Our guardian angel is making sure we see this. And you know that passage in the Bible in Luke chapter 17 where it says they were buying, selling, eating, drinking, marrying, giving into marriage, building, planting. Well, the buying and selling, don't we do a lot of that during Christmas? I mean, seriously, we do a lot of that during Christmas. Yeah, I mean, that passage, you know, I know that sometimes they allude to the fact that there's going to be more lockdowns, but I think as I read Luke chapter 17, it's probably going to happen during normal conditions. And as I listen to some of these dreams and visions, it seems to me that the rapture is going to happen during normal conditions. So, you know, a lot of these drones, I'll tell you, in the Northeast, when they were over a hospital, people were getting sick. Something very different is taking place. I mean, there's fast-moving drones, there's slow-moving drones. So that's just something to think about too. How they could be real large. And I don't know everything, friend. Listen, I just know I can be a very stupid person, but I'm not that stupid, you know. Yeah, I mean, and they have been appearing in Africa, Brazil, and Egypt, and they said the same thing. You know, they'll appear 1 second, and then, you know, they're down the road. You know, I mean, oh boy, I'll tell you. And look at the war front. By the way, this is a freestyle format, so I might be going back to subjects. But, you know, Syria, right around the middle of December, they made a plea to stop leveling their country. This is Isaiah 17:1 coming to pass. And Trump, he still wants that pipeline from Saudi Arabia, you know, Ukraine, Israel, He wants Israel to deal with the gas and Saudi Arabia to deal with the oil. And Russia's very upset with that. Very upset with that. Uh, well, I said a couple of months ago that the Europe and the Baltic states may not get heat because Russia actually came right out and said, you're not going to get it. Well, guess what's happening? They're not getting heat, in a lot of places. Uh, so, I don't know. I mean, the world is preparing for war, my friend. That means the rapture and the day of the Lord is very close. Well, and there's real drones too. For example, a lot of those drones from Ukraine hit Russia a lot. So, there are all kinds of drones up there, friend. And that is the story of the hour. I know one drone fell. One drone fell. And there's tornadoes around the California area, too. Among the fact that the whole state is literally shaken right now. And this is kind of interesting. The Vatican pretty much went bankrupt. I mean, and countries, left and right front, are going bankrupt. Almost every country is going bankrupt. Once again, signs that World War III is probably just about to start. So I heard, so they shut down a power plant. I believe that was in Ohio. They wanted to make sure. Once again, if it was ours, they probably wouldn't shut it down. Because I think it was the head of HS, and he said it could be drones from China, but then he kind of looked at the audience haphazardly, and he said UFOs. I mean, I don't think they know. I really don't think they know. So, yeah, I mean, a lot of tremors over there in that California area, especially the circadian zone. I'm talking like it's really shaking, And like I said last week, there's usually small earthquakes to relieve the pressure. Not so anymore. It's almost like God's getting ready for the big one. So, of course, when our White House was asked about the drones, they said there's no drones, That's just dumb. That's just stupid. So I know they're over Germany. I mean, they're all over the world, except Russia, probably because they have a pretty good air defense system. Then Britain's talking about it a lot. They seem to go over military bases. That made the press a lot. Well, the biblical purpose of the drones is the lie. After the rapture, they will believe the lie. That's in the book of Thessalonians. So they're gonna blame it. Well, they're not going to blame it on the UFOs, but they're going to say it was UFOs. They are not going to say it was a rapture. They are not going to say that. And Trump came out and said, no, it's not Project Blue Book either. He came right out and said that. All right. Well, the Dow, that's going down and down and down. I knew that would happen, And of course, we go in debt approximately every 100 days over here. That's a lot. And Russia is very serious over there, There's a lot of them over there. Putin, Methodel, they're very serious over there. I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to tell you what they have been doing, and that'll just show you. Fred, I asked myself the question: am I even going to be here in 2 days or 3 days or 4 days? I do not look too far out. China added 100 nuclear warheads in the past year. And I got to tell you, these people want war. Um, there are at least 140 countries that dropped the U.S. petrodollar. And at least 160 countries said that they will adopt a new global payment system isolating the U.S. dollar. That is huge. Turkey just said that they will invade Israel. That's Ezekiel chapter 38. And they basically said we want to wipe Israel out. Okay. So they're going to join with Russia according to Ezekiel chapter 38. That means we're very close to the rapture. Okay. A lot of cyber attacks are increasing in America. You know, and these are signs that at the rate they're going, these are signs that war will take place. And both the Democrats and the Republicans, they want to divide Israel. It doesn't matter what party they are, you know. So what did that stock market lose? About $100 $1 trillion, maybe $1.5 trillion. It lost a lot of money. It lost a lot of money. Okay. Well, you know, if the American petrodollar and the stock market really goes down, every country is tied into that. You know. There's a couple of these drones. One was in Tennessee, and people were saying there's no possible way that was from planet Earth. Okay, so listen to the people. Listen to the people. You know. Now, of course, Putin is angry with all that happened to his military and surroundings. I mean, he's really angry. Is there going to be a Christmas? Is there going to be a New Year's Eve? Is the bride of Christ going to be here? I don't know, friend. As I look at current events, this thing could happen at any moment. It could happen at any moment. And what really scares me, humanly speaking, I'm not scared, period, because I have the supernatural peace of the Holy Spirit, which I would advise you to get if you're a believer, okay? You know, just ask the Lord for that. Remember when I said we get more faith by spending time with God, so spend a lot of time with God, okay? Spend a lot of time with God. But what really scares me is those long-range missiles, because I think Russia's only going to put up with that for so long. I think they're only going to put up with it for so long. Why is the focus on the Northeast with the drones? I don't know. I have no clue. They're all over the world. I don't believe there's more drones in the Northeast as opposed to these other places around the world, so I don't really know. So they did make a law for restrictions for drones, but the problem is if they're not human, then what good's that law going to do? Russia wants to increase their army to 1.5 million. Okay, this is a country preparing for war. And a lot of countries have been going after Israel. I think the newest, France and Yemen. You know, they're being attacked pretty hard. So, all right. What about this fact that they're talking about the one world currency, and that'll be on a blog, and that'll be it can lock you in and out. It's a one payment system. You know, I mean, I look at this, and granted, if you're part of the bride of Christ, you're going to go up in the rapture. You won't have to deal with this. But I look at these people that, you know, they want to make money, money, money. If you don't want to get to this thing, it doesn't matter if you have $2 billion, okay? If you don't play ball by their rules, you will be locked out of the system. If you do get that mark, according to Revelation, well, according to the whole book of Revelation, especially right around that area of Revelation chapter 13, 14, you won't even go to heaven. So, and they say, I've never seen this film, friend. I've only seen the film 30%. You know, it's not really my type of film, so it's very difficult for me to watch it. But the film Leave the World Behind is coming to pass. So I guess they knew what they were doing when they made the film. Now, I know a lot of watchmen are bringing us to the middle of 2025 for the rapture and the day of the Lord. But as I look at current events, I don't think we're going to make it that far. If we do, if God wants it to, well, okay. You know, I'm wondering if we even have one day left. The problem with having your favorite feast day is every feast day has overtones of the rapture, including unleavened bread. I thought that was the one that was exempt, and somebody said, no, that has overtones of the rapture of the church too. They all have overtones of the rapture of the church. Why don't we get through Hanukkah first, okay? Seriously. Hanukkah wasn't even mentioned in the Old Testament, and it mentions Hanukkah in the New Testament. And I notice Hanukkah is the least looked at. But isn't that the way God works? I mean, it wasn't Jesus the one that said, I'm coming at a time that you least expect it? You know? I think it's just like God to maybe perhaps choose that whole Hanukkah area. I'll try and leave a video or two about the rapture and Hanukkah for a dream and visions in the description box. Always, with my videos, always check that description box. You might really get a lot out of that description box. Okay. Well, yeah, the U.S. stock market is tied to the U.S. dollar, and it's interesting that I don't believe that the Antichrist could take over the world with the U.S. dollar. So, look for that. If you see signs that that's going down, the whole world's tied into the petrodollar, even though at least 140 countries left it, and 160 countries, I told you earlier, are talking about a global system apart from America. Now, there in Russia, I heard, okay, that there are massive flights being flown to the mountains of Russia. So I wonder if deep inside those mountains are cities underground. I know construction has been going on for a very long time on that. You know, you look at this war strategy, and yeah, it's a good question has been raised. Did Russia want us to give all our weapons away to Ukraine to fight this war? You know, all these military strategies, they work 24 hours a day. That's all they think about, you know. And there's a lot of military aircraft over the U.S., and I don't even have to look at a website. All I have to do is stay in my home and listen. And yes, it's increasing. it's big time increasing. And obviously privacy is out. If you're one of those privacy people like I want, you have been watched. I have been watched. You know, they hear all our words. They see what we do. It's kind of scary, you know. There's been craters that have been talked about in the U.S., and they have been opening up. See, the Earth crust is shifting. And I don't think it'll make the mainstream news unless it's an unusual situation where I don't know. I mean, it's so obvious, you know. Um, but I was talking about Russia a little bit ago, on how their movement is going, but on the surface, their ruble is really bad. I mean, it's really bad. And there's food lines in Russia, and they're getting very discouraged over there. Um, and I just heard that there is a global ID system, and it's tied to that two-state solution. Okay, let's just sit back and read the Bible. Daniel 9:27 talks about that peace covenant. Okay, that starts the 7-year tribulation. The rapture happens a little before it. So if they want this two-state solution, this peace covenant, confirmed by the Antichrist, and they want the digital currency with that, that's Revelation chapter 13. Yeah, I sometimes think that these people know the Bible, and they just kind of they listen and say, okay, yeah, let's do this. Uh, from a factual point of view, I know Donald Trump is pretty big on saying I don't like the deep state, but on who he put in there in key positions, I think he's just enhancing it. Um, we are on the edge of disaster. That's just a fact. Uh, and I hope with all these drones, for lack of a better word, that the sky isn't turning to poison or anything like that. Um, what about Putin's general? I mean, the guy that killed the guy wasn't even in any military. They caught him too. They caught him. Once again, Russia is becoming really, really angry and upset. The bear, Russia's known as the bear in the Bible. They are getting really agitated, and they're still going on with the New World Order. With these COP 26, 27, 28, 29. It's an environmental get together. They agreed to spend $300 billion a year for climate change. And this is going to bind the world, according to them. So all right. I mean, you're hearing these watchmen and women all over all over YouTube, and I think it's pretty much almost over. You know, when Amazon wants to scam your palm, that's payment. And I think it's more specifically Amazon One. I mean, it's really getting close at this point. Okay. So we talked about the pipeline. That probably caused the war, and they're still pushing it. They're still pushing it. Trump wants to invade Iran, but I kind of think it's going to happen before he even gets in. I really do. Uh, okay, that guy that died in Russia, the general, he was the head of biological and nuclear warfare in Russia, and they are. I can guarantee you this. They are taking this really personal. Um, and if you can believe this, there was about 10 countries in Syria, and there's countries in there are still jumping Syria. You know. Um, and what about the fact that the American troops, a lot of them aren't even coming back for Christmas? Seriously, I mean, what's that tell you? War, They're all the way over there in Europe and all those places across the seas. Uh, all right. Yeah, I think they gave that guy. Well, anyway, whoever did that for the Russian general, they're just very upset. Uh, so many secular sources are now saying that China really wants to go to war, and I said once this happens, it won't be one individual war. It'll be 4 or 5 wars all at once, and that'll be like that whole Psalm 83, Ezekiel 38, 39 thing, and I believe we're seconds away from that. Um, so I think they're covering up a lot with those drones, um, and those human drones that are going up to check it out. A lot of them are crashing. They don't even know why they're crashing. Uh, so, like I said, they're coming. A lot of them are coming out of the ocean. I don't know what to say on that. Okay. But this, my friend, our politicians, they know all about this. This goes back to 1947 in America. And I know Eisenhower, when he was in right around 1951, he had to deal with in a really like heavy-duty way. And he settled the problem temporarily. But this has been going on since 1947. This is why I say this is fallen angel technology. Um, Well, it's funny, because a lot of people are a little naive, and they think that there's aliens in these drones, and they say, just tell them you love them and all that. Well, if they're demons or fallen angels, they are one of the most unloving creatures, or probably the most unloving creatures on planet Earth. You know, uh, they have no love in them. It's a shame because people really don't know their Bible. Um, okay. I know some people in Israel are calling Trump their new Messiah, um, and they put his face on coins. And of course, the church worships him in a lot of ways, but Donald Trump is not the Antichrist. But the mere fact that they're putting his face on coins and calling him the Messiah, they're really looking for their Messiah. I've never seen Israel expect their Messiah in the way that they are doing it. And of course, their Messiah, according to the Bible, is the Antichrist because they rejected Jesus as their true Messiah. Now, one day they will see that Jesus is the true Messiah, but it's interesting to look at these signs because all these signs show us that we're very close to the rapture of the church. Um, and I heard that, there's a testimony about the drone that the voice came through the car radio and said, "We come in peace." I don't believe they do come in peace, although I think that's what's going to be said. Um, and remember, when I give this news, friend, it's kind of a back and forth thing, because it's a freestyle thing. So just hang loose, hang loose. So Israel's going to, they're planning the preemptive strike on Iran. Uh, and China and Russia have already said that if you do that, then it's probably going to be World War III. So, um, now, as strange as this sounds, people have reported that some of these drones look to be the size of buildings or football fields. There's some big drones out there. Um, and I also wanted to point out with this Hanukkah season coming up, there are actually scriptures that make reference to Ho, Christmas, and then it talks about the rapture. I think the references are Ruth 4:1 and Isaiah 55:1 and Zechariah 2:6. Now, I don't know if the rapture is going to happen right around Hanukkah, But just to look at current events, we could not have a. We don't have a lot of time. We don't really have a lot of time. Okay, and remember now, these drones aren't showing up in the radar. Uh, okay. I think the government's finally going to say after the rapture that, yeah, you're right. You had it right the whole time. You said it was UFOs and all that, and that'll be their cover. Uh, I don't think the drones are from any government. Um, why don't we talk about the Golden Heights in Israel? Because, see, Israel wants occupation in the Golden Heights. And I want to tell you something. The world is getting furious at that. I'm talking furious, you know. They want to double the population there. And the anger is like, woo, you know. They want to expand Israel's settlement. So, okay. Oh, boy. Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu said once again, he gave a swelling speech to Iran. One of those, you're being oppressed and all that. They're going to war. I can tell you right now, they're going to war. I'm looking at these drones, and I'm saying they can come to a dead stop. That's just, I don't usually, that's not from Earth. Um, Germany is collapsing right now. France is collapsing, and it's the world's falling apart, friend. Listen, friend, I'm not going to keep you too long. If you don't know Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, accept Him now into your heart. We don't have much time. If you're in that category, you are running out of time. So it's just accept Him into your heart, embrace Him, watch for His return every day. And that goes for the believers that I'm talking to, too. Most of the people I'm talking to are believers. Embrace Jesus Christ. One of my favorite verses is, if we draw close to God, God will draw close to us. That's in the book of James. So simple. Keep it simple. Draw close to Jesus Christ. So I'm going to leave with my usual salvation, friend. Keep looking up, and God bless you very much.